Yo, what is up, guys? It's me, Eve, again here playing Tokyo Ghoul Break the Chains, and today we're gonna see if the combat outfit Kaneki can is actually good enough to be in the Aogiri Tree team. Because by this point, we have so many characters that suits greatly in the Aogiri Tree team, and we need to know if this guy actually has anything to do with that team now, because again, like as a support we already have a lot of supports for that team. Even like someone outside of the Aogiri as well, like Itori, can work there pretty decently. So we'll see about this guy. I already like looked a little bit, as well as I tried him out a little bit on the games. I didn't fully go on his level yet, as you can see here, but uh, I just tried it out, on some bosses to see if it's any good or all of that stuff. So we'll go and see that, and then I'm gonna say what I think about this guy. First, obviously, his active skill is deal plunder damage to all enemies equal to 285% of the attack. So it's an AoE attack. Definitely not as strong as the AoE of the Ayato, but I don't think there's anyone even remotely close to how much Ayato can do with his attack. Plunder, for every 5% reduction of enemy HP, 1.5% of the current damage is inflicted as an additional damage. After inflicting damage to a target with fear, an additional damage of 80% attack is dealt to the target. So here the damage is not like something insane. It's with plunder activated, as well as with the fear, the damage becomes like okayish, but like not to extent of like anything crazy there. It's like okay damage, but the thing is, with this character you don't want to actually use him in the fight, because all of his abilities are backup state. So as you, for example, use Yomo or Naki for their backup state abilities. As you can see here, for example, Yomo is a great character for Anteku because of his backup state. You put him in backup state, and all allied characters' attack is increased by 10%. Great. Increase allied speed characters' max HP by 15%. Also very good. And as well as before an enemy character casts, reduce all their stats by 3% for the remaining of the turn. The effect stacks. As well, very good one there for Yomu. As well as, for example, Naki is a healer in his backup state. I actually can level him up. Nice. So he's now on the D plus for me. Great. But as you can see here again, for him, he can heal, as well as he can pen rate, boost the pen rate, as well as he's good in PvP a little bit. Not a bad character to have in your backup. So this again, a character specifically made for an Aogiri tree to be in the backup state. I don't think you really want to use him while he's on the field, obviously, because then this three just pointless for him. But let's see what they can do. First is obviously fear. He's standard. You don't need any stars to get this fear. While in the backup state, when allied characters attack, apply fear to the target when an enemy with fear uses active skill. So this is just basically their attack. Apply disruption to them. When an enemy dies, apply fear to all enemies. So what is disruption and what is fear? Disruption makes the target's active skill ineffective for one turn. So it's kind of, I feel like it's not really like Ito's alert, but it's kind of feels like the same thing, ineffective. So it's like not that good basically. But Ito is more like her alert doesn't really make you get any damage from the attacks for one single time. Here, basic stats are reduced by 12% for one turn. Again, very good. 12%, not bad. So it's like you're basically doing not only more damage to them because they have less HP now, as well as like their defense is lowered, their attack is lowered, so they can't really attack you anymore. Like 12% debuff for their attack, their penetration rate, their crit rates, all of that stuff. So that's very good, not bad. So now we get to the good stuff. First star again. Probably, I think this is essential to have 1 star. 3 star is probably the best one you can possibly have. Again, in a backup state, when your turn starts, if all allied characters who used an active skill in the previous turn are Aogiri tree characters, increase their attack by 6% for one turn and reduce all enemies' basic stats for 12%. So if you have Fear plus this one, the basic stats reduction is insane. 24%, that's pretty legit. So they're doing 24% less damage, as well as you're doing 6% more damage here. So that's pretty good. That's actually pretty fucking good. So I think just because of these two debuffs working together perfectly, I think it would be a very it's like essential to have the 1 star on him for sure. So we're skipping like second star because it's obviously pretty much the same on all of the characters, but it's just basic stats increased by 5% if he applies weak. But we don't care about that. We're caring about this thing right here. Another backup state. Allied Aogiri tree characters deal an additional 30% damage to enemies with fear. When an enemy with fear dies, increase the skill level of all allied characters. Insane. This is actually insane. 30% buff for damage for enemies with fear. And that could be like a few of the characters with fear. So you could be doing 30% damage buff for like a lot of the characters there. And that's definitely insane, as well as increasing the levels of the characters. For example, if you're using Ito in a team, so let's look at the lineups. So you obviously want this guy here. So if you're using Ito, who she's not obviously not an Itori or someone like Uta, so she can't like buff the skills already, or there is no like a standard Kaneki who can buff his skill levels as well. This guy here can increase them by himself, so that your Ayato and this, for example, Kakuja Kaneki now can do the damage by themselves on the second skill, and that's huge. Like if you compare the damage from the standard skill, the without like 1 star skill and then 2 star skill, the damage difference is insane on both of those characters. Obviously, you don't really care about that for this Ayato because you try only like do like hit with him like only a few times, but you don't like really go uh hitting with him all the time. But still, this is insane. I think this is, by now, this feels like an essential character to have in the Aokiri Tree team. I feel like this is insanity. As well as, even if you're not gonna be like using Ito, because obviously I don't think Ito does so much like insanely buffs for the team. You could still I think something like this. Let me put. I think Uja actually works here better because now you can, so you're definitely buffing the skills of the characters with Uta, right? And now if the fear applies there, you can buff even more. So you're having level 3s a lot of the time. Like level 3 uh, attacks on those two guys is insane. Like Ayato and this Kakuja Kaneki, they do insane amount of damage. They will like melt the bosses if you're using this for the boss fights or anything like that. Obviously, if the boss have no like debuff, so you can't apply debuffs on them, that's gonna be a little bit sad. That's gonna be like you should definitely see like change something up here. But uh, if the boss is okay with the applying debuffs, this seems like the team you want to go for. Otherwise, I think Ito again. She's not bad. She can still work here on these team ups over here like that. She can definitely work. She's okay character, but I feel like you get more, definitely more value from just using Uta. Unfortunately, because Uta just his increase of skills does so much more than like Ito's alert, to be honest. And sometimes when you're fighting bosses, Ito's alert even doesn't even work. So it's a little bit sad there. Uh, Definitely, you're not gonna be using Jason here, or like Clown could be okay, but I feel like Clown doesn't do as much buffs as this Uta does. As well as Itori would be okay, but the problem is Itori buffs only this guy the most for no, for the most part. Like so, it would be great if this Kaneki would be attacker that you want to use in the team on the battlefield. Then Itori would be actually better here. You could use Itori here, for example, and use those two, and maybe like Kakuja Kaneki in a backup state, so that if someone dies, he can come up. That would be insanely cool to see the like this trio work here. But unfortunately, I think for now, you want to go with lineup like this. To be honest, I feel like this is the better lineup for the Aogiri Tree team. But as well as for unfortunately, this Ayato's passive on his first star, it won't work if you don't have all the Aogiri Tree teams. So you should it's probably better for you just forget that those are actually all of them. Just because this, as you can see here, uh, he will get more stacks, but he's still getting stacks. Like when the battle starts, you get 2 stacks. But if all of the characters on the field are Ogiri tree, he will get 4 stacks basically instantly, and not only 2. Obviously, it's better for him to get more stacks. He will do better, as well as all of your units will do better. But I just think the skill level up here on this guy is more important than having more stacks on this. Unfortunately, this is how I see the Aogiri tree team working. Uta still being on top, still being the best support out there in terms of buffing, obviously, and making your team stronger. So I think if you're going just for based of the damage output, especially your main damager here is the Kakuja and the Ayato. So you definitely want to put Uta here more, I think, than anything there. Unfortunately, even though I love Ito. We like tested it on the streams. Unfortunately, I don't think Ito can output. Even if you like change someone here for maybe a clown like this, we tried it like that. It's still not enough. It doesn't show the same numbers as with obviously Uta. It's much better. So this is what I'm gonna say, that this team with this Kaneki here in the backup state, very good, very strong, probably strongest team right now. And this Kaneki, I think, actually is essential to have. So what I'm gonna suggest doing on the stars here, if you're gonna go for him, first, definitely 1 star. Like definitely 1 star. If you're going to summon for this guy, at least 1 star is required. Less than that, that would be just sad. Like only 1 star here, I don't think it's gonna cut it. 1 star, essential. 3 stars, best. Like he definitely requires you to have 3 stars because this is insanity. If you can get to 3 stars, hopefully this guy shines insanely good in the backup state. Again, this is essential just because he's the only Aogiri tree character that you will only be using in a backup state. Like if he was an active battlefield character, that would be the different like we'll be speaking different language here because we already have these 3 insane guys and we need a place for the support obviously. And if he wasn't a support, then this would, I don't know, this would seem very difficult to place him in these teams. But hope that's good thing that he is a backup character. So now we have a great backup character here that is pretty much essential for Aogiri tree again. I think he's essential just because he's the only Aogiri tree character who does this stuff, and you'll be using him all the time in the backup state. So that's what I think about this guy. Hopefully you liked this video. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment what you think about him. I definitely like the character, and hopefully you have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next one.